Hello, I'm Holden Smith. I'm one of your global ambassadors, and I'm here today with Camilla. If you'd like to introduce yourself and say where you studied abroad and what your major is.
Hi, I'm Camilla Sumner. I'm a senior at PLU this year. I studied abroad my freshman year in January of 2018 in Neah Bay, and am studying English with a double minor in Hispanic Studies and Religion.
I've talked to a couple people from NIA that went on the NIA Bay program, and I think English hasn't been one of them yet. So, how did English, or let me reword that, did your major just like help you decide to go to NIA Bay, or was there any links to it, or was it just kind
Yeah,
of a.
so I went my freshman year, and
Mhm.
I hadn't declared, I don't think yet.
Okay.
But it was for a freshman. It does a lot for. I think it hits four different criteria that you
Hmm.
need. You need to take a J term. It's one of the FYEP uh, gen eds,
Uh-huh.
and then I can't remember what else. I think it was also a science credit.
Probably like a what is it? I can't think now either. The alternative perspective course.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it hit like four different. It checked four things off my
Hmm.
list, and I was like,
Why
four
not?
things on my list, and 2 weeks out of PLU, like with a group
Hmm.
somewhere, like might as well.
Hmm.
So it was more about the gen ed side that it was fulfilling than for my degree. But then I had never taken an anthropology course. So I thought kind of trying that out would be interesting because at that time I knew that English was kind of my focus, but with an English degree, I wanted a field besides knowing how to write. I wanted
Hmm.
to a field that I knew what to write about. And so I was that was when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to either minor in or double major in.
Just dipping your toes in a bunch of things.
One thing I really enjoyed specifically about a J term is that it's so intense. And so you spend what, 3, 4 hours in the classroom
Hmm.
4 days a week. And then how Neah Bay is interesting because it's partially on campus, partially not. So you spend 2 weeks on campus, kind of just getting a crash course in anthropology, specifically learning about the Makah tribe.
Hmm.
And then you spend 2 weeks on the reservation, meeting with people. And as a freshman who didn't know a lot of people, having that really strict structure and that intense time with a bunch of people, I met a lot of people that I probably wouldn't have met otherwise. And um, so that really helped kind of the transition into PLU and into the community. Um, but I think, yeah, and you just get so close in such a short amount of time with people, which is great because you're with them
Hmm.
24/7. So I would say that it's very broad, but that was my favorite part.
Do you remember how long you were in Nia Bay? Is it 2 weeks?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know off the top of my head either. So was getting to meet people from the Makah tribe and getting to see all this like other side of learning from about this kind of a topic like surprising to you, or were you kind of expecting more of a hands-on class rather than sit in a classroom for 4 hours?
I think it was really valuable for me.
Hmm.
I went to public high school in Oregon and learned nothing about Native Americans. And it was kind of embarrassing how little I knew being a freshman in college and not knowing about the boarding schools, not knowing about specifically the Makah tribe is known for their whaling rights. And there
Hmm.
was in the late 90s, a huge controversy about them wanting their whaling rights back. And I mean, that happened the year I was born, but still, I felt embarrassed that I didn't know this stuff. So it felt like I needed to know this. This is people who live in my country, and I know very little about this part of our country's history, how violent it
Hmm.
was. And so learning all of that and learning about the laws and learning about the culture, it was so comprehensive um, that I think the classroom time was definitely needed before going to the reservation to have that background context.
Hmm. Do you have a favorite assignment that you had for that class? Because yeah.
Ooh, that's a good question. I think the most valuable part,
Hmm.
it may have not, well, it was enjoyable at times, was we had to write a journal while we
Hmm.
were gone. And like every day, or at least a substantial amount of the time we were there. And it was really fun. Like every night or every other night, you would get in your little cabins with your roommates and you just kind of find a spot and you would all just write for about an hour or so. And it was just kind of a nice way to unwind at the end of the day.
Hmm.
And we all had to do it. And we did get graded on it, but also now I have a journal that I can look back on, and there's details that I don't remember that are written down. So
Hmm.
that, on top of just being able to reflect daily and then being able to use that for our final essay, which was a 10-page reflection essay, it also is memorable.
Hmm. Just having those memories written down helps you just remember it in the future. Uh, is there any advice you would give a student that's thinking about doing this program? Or maybe even what you wish you had known prior to going?
Advice, that's a good question.
Hmm.
I think the main thing is, I think just try to get to know people. I think I would recommend it for freshmen specifically. I know they try to cater it to them, but at the end of my fall semester, I had met people, but I didn't have a ton of close friends. And I think that J term was that push to really get me a part of the community. And so if a freshman student is feeling like I have some friends, but I'm still trying to figure out my place, I think J terms and study abroad can really be that extra step to help you find friends in a community. And you might meet people that you wouldn't expect you'd get along with, or you might meet people from different majors, and it really helps you build connections and friendships, that might not happen just day to day on campus.
I think that's amazing advice. I think that's some of the best advice I've heard for studying away. So I'm glad that you feel that way, because I do too from my study away experiences, that you really get this tight knit community going, and it makes lasting friendships. Thank you, Camilla. That was amazing. That's all we have today. So thank you everybody for